John, I'm curious, as a producer on the show, going into the final season, what were the conversations like about how to end this thing? And was there anything in particular you felt strongly that you wanted to do that you guys hadn't done yet?
We wanted to do something and keep the action and thrills and all that for the audience. But I think most importantly to me was, if we were going to end it, to make sure that the audience also had a culmination of these characters and these relationships that they connected to and that they felt that they were saying goodbye as well. So I think that we really wanted to get to a place where you see the personal relationships of his marriage and that's a spoiler, but somebody comes back. Somebody comes back this season for Jack, and who knows who Mike's with. It depends day to day what his character, who he's with. But no, I think for us, it was the emotional impact of making sure that we ended the show rather than on some action-packed moment, that the moment was about all of us together.
And just having like a really brutal death scene for Jack at the end, right?
Yes, yes, that's the after credit sequence, yeah. And it's him doing it, which is weird.
I'm curious, I mean, you guys have such a great rapport in the show and clearly in real life. This has been a journey for all of you. I'm curious if each of you could kind of talk to me. Tell me about one moment in the show during production where everything just went right and you felt like you guys hit it and it just felt like a really good moment. And then another, maybe a low point, and how you pushed through that. Another really challenging part, kind of looking back on the series.
It's a great question. For me, the most great shows or IP that people have a relationship with before you do it depends on the relationship of the character. So meaning I know that people had a relationship with Jack before I got to play him, and certainly this relationship between Greer meant the most to me. And so I genuinely mean the first scene that I did with Wendell, the way he was playing it and the way that it wasn't just this boss and employee relationship, that there was a complex character talking to another hopefully complex character, and that we were just having so much fun in the scene. I thought, wow, this is really, really good. These two characters, at least for season 1, would be the fulcrum of the whole show. And when we did our first scene, I thought this might actually work.
I feel the same. What's really great about both of these guys is they're always in the moment. And at the same time, there's always a rapport that gives you the freedom and the safety to play within that. You know, whatever you give, they're going to respond to. And that's a rare thing, because sometimes people have blinders on and like, this is the way I'm playing it, and that's the only way we're going to play it. The hardest times were, amazing production schedules of, 9, 10 countries, 3 and 4, units going at the same time. To me, that may have been complicated. It may have been uncomfortable at times, but looking back, it was just truly a grand sense of accomplishment. This was a really special show.
Is there, without giving away spoilers, is there a desire for any of you guys to maybe continue the story at some point in the future? Or do you feel like this is kind of the book closed?
I never want to close this book. Like, I love this book. I want to keep reading it, doing it, and being in it. I have a blast. It's the greatest job ever. I think you back to your question about best and worst days, and I think about the one day on the. It's kind of. I'll make it quick because I'll make them both best and worst. And it's just such a silly little.
John is the best and the worst. He's the worst.
The best and the worst person to work with in the world. No, the scene outside that big plane. When I say that, at least our last flight's not going to be in coach, and it was so cold, insanely cold, and I don't know what I had on, but I didn't have on a lot, and I was so cold that I was shaking. But at the same time, when I look back on it, you see those guys, you see their relationship, and you see what they've been through, and you see what they're gonna go through. So it's kind of both in that one scene of best and worst.